Hello, everyone. Welcome into Yelling from the Couch. I'm Brent Humphreys. He's Joey Mullins, and we are here for our extreme overreaction. Kentucky falls to Clemson tonight, 70-66 in Clemson, South Carolina, at Little John Coliseum. And what was a ugly game for Kentucky. Uh, Joey, man, what what's your instant thoughts after this game right here for Kentucky?
Just, I mean, a lot of defensive mistakes, a lot of bad shots, uh, missed blockouts, turnovers. Um, on both sides. It wasn't really a good shoot night for neither team. When it comes down to I mean, Kentucky went 7 for 27 from three. Clemson went 8 for 25. That's really not an advantage to neither team. Kentucky shot 38% from the floor, 36% for Clemson. It just come down to little minor details.
Yeah, I thought that Clemson out toughed Kentucky tonight. They were a more physical team. They went out and they got more loose balls than Kentucky did. The 50-50 balls, most all of them went Clemson's way. Man, especially in the first half, they really exposed Kentucky. And like I said, they were the more physical team. Shiflin, had 13 rebounds in the first half for Clemson, and he punked out Amari Williams in that first half. He just straight up punked him out and made him look bad. Williams had no answer. He wasn't tough enough in the first half, and you know that was the key difference in the game, I believe. Uh, is Clemson wanted to come in. They wanted to muck it up and play a down and dirty game, and they did. They accomplished that. And Kentucky, they come out and they struggle with physicality. And then on top of that, the shooting performance was not good tonight. Like you said, 7 of 27 from three. That's not good. 38% from the field overall. It's just not a good shooting night for them. And man, some of the guys there that they had, just struggled in the game.
Yeah, they did. Kobe Bryant didn't have his typical night. I think that was key for Kentucky. Um, and the only thing I see that jumps out at me the stat sheet is Kentucky had 12 turnovers. Clemson only had 8, and they both tied in rebounds, 44 rebounds. So, like I said, it comes down to for me the simple things. Um, I don't know. I don't want to say live and die by the three, but you know, like me and you talked during the game, and when the threes ain't falling, you got to get paint touches, play inside out. Um, you know, you got to keep the defense honest. You know, take the ball inside, defense collapses, kick it out, get a wide open three. Um, I don't know. They just had it for Kentucky for what they've played so far. It's a sloppy game for them, but it was their first true road test of the year. So you know, and the SEC is a gauntlet. Just like the ACC, it's a gauntlet. You got to expect this every night when you go on the road. You're not going to get calls. It's adversity. You got to find a way to overcome it.
Yeah, Kentucky, like you said, you mentioned it wasn't a normal night for Kobe Bryant. Kobe
Yeah,
Bryant shot two 3 pointers in the whole game. Like, you know, your best 3 point shooter, the nation's leading 3 point shooter, and he only gets two shots out of three. And the second one, I believe, was less than a minute left in the game when he shoots his second 3 pointer. And it's like it's a little too late there to get him involved. Um, Andrew Carr had a very down day, very down night. 5 points. He did not play defense really well. 5 rebounds. he wasn't good tonight, and you got to get more out of him.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes, absolutely. I agree 100%. I mean, you know, he's the best shooter on the team. I mean, he's who you rely on when you need an outside shot.
And the two that played the best is the two toughest guys on the team, I believe. Otega Owe and Lamont Butler. Both of them guys, I thought they had decent nights. I mean, they weren't great or anything, but Owe had 17, Butler had 16. Owe had 7 rebounds. He got some of those 50-50 balls I was talking about. Butler can drive into the paint at any time, and he drove in several times and kicked it out. Got some assists on that. I thought they both played fairly well today for compared to the rest of the team. Those were the two standouts, I believe, for the game.
Yeah. And, a bright spot for Kentucky, Lamont Butler. I mean, a straight up dog, man. He's their toughness. He's their grit. Uh, I mean, I thought he had a good game. He played very well. Owe played well. Um, Clemson almost had 5 guys in double figures. You know, you got Victor Lakin. He had 9. And if it wasn't for that, they'd have 5 guys in double figures. If Kobe Brea, to me, would have had a regular Kobe Brea night, I think this ball game is completely different because
Mm-hmm.
I think he's the catalyst for this team. Um, you know, he can handle the ball, he can shoot. Um, him and Lamont Butler, especially Lamont Butler, he's the general. Calm you down. You need to slow the pace down. Let's get a good shot here. He's been there before. Um, yeah, I mean it's like I said, Kentucky's first true road game. Um, I mean it's a good test for him, good measuring stick for Mark Pope. See what he needs to work on. See what he needs to change. You know,
So it was about a month ago, maybe a little less than a month ago, 3 or 4 weeks ago, when we sat here and we overreacted to the Kentucky Duke game. And, feeling pretty good about that. Kentucky got the win over Duke. And then they really haven't played much competition since then. And then I knew last week after they played Georgia State, I was like, okay, the real test comes next week when you get your first true road game at Clemson. A team
yes,
that made the Elite Eight last year. I know they've got a few players back. I'm pretty sure Shefflin has been there for 6 years. I think he's a 6-year senior. I don't know. He may have been there
yep,
when Hansbrough was playing for Carolina. I don't know.
seems like it.
But it seems like it. But I knew that would be a tough test, the very first true road game, and then you go to Seattle to play Gonzaga on Saturday. Not a true road game, but it might as well be a true road game.
Might as
This
well.
week right here is really going to tell you a lot about this Kentucky Wildcat team. Because Gonzaga's got some physical guys too. EK in the middle, he's pretty physical. You got one of those Nimhart guys out there still playing point guard for him. I mean, Gonzaga's a really good team on the road. Clemson, like I said, I think they may have found the blueprint for beating Kentucky, and that's the physical nature of it. But this week right here, it's going to tell a whole lot about what this Kentucky team is going to be moving forward.
Yeah, and like you said, you know, Clemson brought the physicality to Kentucky. Um, I mean, you got Shefflin with 20 rebounds. I mean, it's a rare thing in college when you see a kid get 15 rebounds, let alone 20. I mean, I don't recommend. I mean, I don't recall right off the top of my head. When have you noticed a player in college get 20 rebounds? I mean,
Oscar Sheboy, I would say.
exactly. But that's what I'm saying. It's a
Yeah.
rare thing. It don't happen all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh.
I think Kentucky, it's just like my Carolina Tar Heels. they need to find that one guy in the middle that's going to be dominant and say, okay, you know, I, I'm going to rule the paint. I'm going to get rebounds and blocking out. You know, there were so many times me and you were talking during the game. It's like you got to box somebody out. You know, you can't just
Mhm.
turn and ball watch. When the shot goes up, you know, you got to turn and find somebody. Your first thing should be turn, find somebody, put a body on them. You know, because in high school we used to run a drill. Coach would shoot the ball, and we'd have to turn and find somebody, put a body on them. The ball had to bounce one time before you went for the rebound. You know, because that's the way it should be. If you box out correctly, you should get the rebound. And
Yeah.
it comes down to fundamentals. And you know, Kentucky's still a young team, um, and Mark Pope will make adjustments. I know he will. I've seen him do it. He did it in the Duke game at halftime. I mean, we talked about it. I said, man, he's got to make this adjustment and this adjustment, and he made the adjustments. They won the game. I think tonight some of his kids just didn't hit shots, man. That's a lot of it.
Another stat, if you look it up, Kentucky went 11 of 18 from the foul line.
Yep.
That's not going to cut it. 60 some percent, from the foul line. It's not. I mean, especially it didn't come down to foul shots, but still, if you hit your foul shots, if you
Yeah.
just make half of what you missed,
Mm-hmm.
but there's just a lot for them that they need to work on, of course, but it's small things like they can be fixed easily. Like you said, Pope, he'll make adjustments. Um, I think he made an adjustment in the second half because, Shefflin, he didn't kill him as much as he did the first half.
Right.
I think he had 9 points in the first half. He ends up with 11. He had
Yep.
13 rebounds. He ended up with 20, but you know he didn't let him beat him on the offensive end at least. But still, man, it's that toughness part right there. That's what
A lot of
rebounds
those,
are: the toughness and hustle.
yes, a lot of those rebounds he was getting though were second chance points. You know, I'd
Mm-hmm.
have to look the stat up, but I guarantee you, Clemson destroyed Kentucky in second chance points just because of how many rebounds he got. Because you're giving your team another chance and then another chance, you know, and then they cash in.
Funny you say the second chance points. I read somewhere on here that it said that Kentucky uh, actually had more second chance points than Clemson at the end of the game, like 13-10 or something like that. It was crazy, but the first half they were
Wow.
dominated. I would never have believed that either.
I
I
did.
would
I
have
didn't
to
look it
actually.
up. I was just going by the eye test of what I seen in the game.
Oh
But
yeah, me
yeah,
too. That's what
that's
I'm saying.
crazy.
Yeah, I would have to look that up to confirm that to see because it don't
Yeah.
sound right to me. But that's what it says there. But it's not a good performance right there for Kentucky
No.
at all. Um, Kerr Kriisa tonight, you know, he got under number 10 skin there for a little while, right? Like I thought Kerr
Yes.
Kriisa was going to get this guy a technical foul or something. You could tell it was starting to get to him a
Yeah.
little bit,
It
and
was.
then Kerr Kriisa kind of disappears after that. He's playing in the game, but he's not doing anything out there except for jacking up threes and missing them for whatever reason.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah, he
why?
went scoreless. He went scoreless. He
Yeah.
didn't. He was 0 for 4 from three, 0 for 4 from. I think all four were shots for threes, wasn't they?
Yep. All four of them, and he missed one foul
Hmm.
shot.
Yep.
It's not going to get it
And
done.
two. When you have two rebounds, one
Mm-hmm.
steal. That's I mean, and he's a key role player for Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he has to play his role, and his role is to come in and handle the ball, make good decisions, make good passes, uh, don't force shots. And I felt like tonight his shots were forced.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It definitely was. Like he's coming up here just jacking up threes for whatever reason when it's no need to. Like early in the shot clock, there's plenty of other guys on the court. Why are we
Yes.
jacking up threes all of a sudden? You know what I mean? And
Yep.
like he wasn't good on defense either. Like I said, he got under that guy's skin, but that was all he did. His guy beat him several times on defense, and you know, Creasa in the first half he was minus 15 at one point, and Garrison was minus 19. I mean, so those two guys right there were not good. Like I said, Carr wasn't good tonight. Amari Williams. Um, how many times are we going to have Amari Williams bring the ball down the court as your point forward when Lamont Butler is in the game? Like, what are we doing here? And then like he stands up at the top of the key and tries to run offense from him. That's not it. That's not going to cut it. He's not that kind of a big man. He's not Nikola Jokic out here, getting assists, getting 8 assists a game from up top,
Yeah.
I didn't understand it.
I didn't either. I mean, like I said, me and you were talking, it's like, man, what are we doing right now? I mean, it was just a weird, I want to say it's a weird game for Kentucky. From what I've seen them play in the games I've seen this year, it was weird. It wasn't
Yeah.
a typical, Kentucky game. And Andrew Carr had an off night too, man. You think about it, Carr and Kobe Brea are really two key players for Kentucky. You know, when when they play well, the team usually does good. But Lamont Butler tonight killed it. He, him and Ole were the only thing that kept him from getting blown out of the gym.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Those two right there were by far the best players on the court. Jackson Robinson, he scored 12 points, but I mean, it was a quiet 12.
Yeah,
It didn't seem like he did hardly anything out there. Um, Devin says in the chat, we missed a ton of open shots. Brea could have shot more on the court, in the half. Yeah, he definitely could have. And he says, let's not forget to praise the 3 refs, Ray Charles, Stevie Wonder, and Helen Keller. Man, yeah, the refs were not good in this game. They let them play. They let them go, a little too much, I thought, at times. And then at times, they called stuff that maybe shouldn't have been called. It was not the refs' best night for sure out there to
yeah,
go with Kentucky's. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it was not good. The refs weren't good either in this
no.
game either.
Well,
They missed a lot.
they missed the travel,
A
obviously.
double dribble too.
Yeah, I mean, you can't let a guy catch the ball and establish a pivot foot, dribble once, and then take off and dribble with the next foot. I mean, I don't know. It's just,
And,
if you're a Kentucky fan, you can't sit and say that it was all on the refs because there was a whole lot of other stuff that went wrong for Kentucky. So
no, it wasn't all on the refs, but the refs they weren't the best either. But like you said, that one play where guy from Clemson gets the ball and he's laying on the ground, he rolls over, and then Williams comes
yeah,
and jumps over on him. At that point, it should have been either a travel from where he rolled or a foul on Williams, either one. Instead, they call a jump ball, which is like, okay, that's fine. It's whatever if you want to call something, but and you got 3 refs out there watching all these plays, and nobody's making the right one. Like, make a call, do something.
well, and like I said, it goes back to when you go on the road in the SEC or the ACC, either one. I mean, your back's against the wall. You're not going to get the calls that you should, um, and you just got to expect that as a player and as a coach. Um, yeah, that's just part of it. But like I said, man, just Kobe Brea and Andrew Carr, especially Kobe Brea, if he could have showed up at all, I mean, I think it's a different ball game.
Oh, I totally agree. If Kobe Bryant comes out and if he hits, even two or three threes like normal, like what he's been doing all year, it's a different story, I think. But like I said, man, still they got out toughed, out physicaled in this game, and that was the main key to it. If you can out physical Kentucky and they're not hitting shots, it's going to be hard for Kentucky to win a ball game. But like you said, Kentucky live by three, die by three. But
Yeah, and like I said, you can negate some of that if you get the ball down low. Like I've always said, with you've heard me when I preach on Carolina all the time. You know, I think that every time the ball goes down the floor, you need at least one or two paint touches. You know, you've got to get the ball down low and see what's going to happen. Let the defense react. If they collapse, kick it out. Um, but yeah, it's the rest were they were letting them play, but just like Devin was saying in the chat, you know, but then when Kentucky would do something, they, you know, the, the calls didn't add up. But like I said, that's just part of it.
yeah, he says a huge win over the Zags. This Clemson loss doesn't exist. Well, it kind of erases it. I mean, it kind of it doesn't really erase it, but it does kind of cancel things out. If you go 1-1 on this road trip, yeah, I would
Kind
I
of
would take
balances
it,
it.
especially over a top 10 Gonzaga team.
Yeah,
I'll take it. Your first true road game, you could chalk it up to your first true road game, road jitters, all that stuff. And then you come out, and if you can beat Gonzaga at their close to their place, yeah, you get the better win out of the two there for sure. Yeah, but hopefully they can come out and play better than they did tonight. I mean, I don't see them shooting bad twice in a row like that. It's just can they handle the physicality? I don't know, but we'll see. Looks like Joey has just dropped off here real quick. He'll be right back in just a second. But yeah, if Kentucky can come out Saturday and hit some shots, show a little physicality, I don't think Andrew Carr is going to play as bad as he did tonight. Saturday night. Uh, but there was another key part of this as Joey's just now hopping back on here. Uh, but one part that I thought was really key in this, Lamont Butler, when he went down with his ankle injury, kind of tweaked his ankle a little bit. That kind of changed things up for Kentucky there too. I mean, he was still able to come back in, still playing, but that's got
yeah,
to slow him down a little bit. I mean, he still, like I say, he still made plays and everything, but Pope had to sub Kerr in for him, and Kerr was not good tonight. So Kerr was in playing for him when that could have been Butler's minutes. Who knows what would happen if he stays healthy? I mean, of course, it's not, a huge reason why they lost, but it was a key part of the game, I believe, when Butler tweaked his ankle there.
yeah. And it worried me for a little bit because there for a minute he wasn't getting up, and I'm like, oh boy,
Yeah.
because I think I think Lamont Butler is almost like the engine for this Kentucky team. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
he's like I said, he's the grid. He's the go get 'em. Um, I think he goes as they go. Him and Kobe Bryant, and I've got a lot of high hopes for Kobe Bryant this year. If you're a Kentucky fan, like I said, leading the nation, 3-point percentage. I mean, he's he can shoot the ball, and he usually takes really good shots, like really smart shots. He don't jack up some kind of three that's unorthodox. You know, he takes the shots as the defense gives him. But yeah, yeah, I was glad Lamont Butler was all right. I mean that was a hold your breath moment for Kentucky for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And he's gonna have to get that thing taped up and get it worked on and kind of stay off of it a
Yeah,
little bit for the next few days. That way he's ready to go for Saturday night. Um, but yeah, man, that was kind of a key part of it there. Because like I said, their best offense for sure was when Butler was going in to the paint. And, at first he was making layups and stuff, or had a shot at making layups, or he would kick it out to an open man and they would do something. And he has dropped off again there. But yeah, I thought that was their best offense. I didn't think that the offense that they had with Amari Williams, where he was taking the ball down the court and bringing the ball up. I know the point forward thing and everything, but like I said, he's no Nikola Jokic. Your best offense is definitely when Butler was in there, and I believe it was when he was driving in to the basket and he was making plays from there. That was Kentucky's best offense tonight.
Yes, I agree. And like I said, man, it's just if and it's way early. It's way early. You can't just say anything strenuous or anything. Like I go back to Carolina because obviously Carolina, Kentucky is my two teams, but you know, it's way too early to speculate a loss to say, oh well, it's you just they'll be all right.
Yeah, they'll be all right. But like I was hoping that Kentucky would win this game, and then they can go up and they could plant their flag in the middle of the court, of Clemson, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was hoping for. Plant your flag
Yeah,
right there.
yeah. Let's go.
That doesn't start anything or anything, right? It's just normal.
No.
Instead, we get a court storming from Clemson, which, man,
Well,
good old fashioned court storming.
like I said, when you're a blue blood like us, you know, and you're expected to win a game, that's what happens. Because like I said about any blue bloods, Duke, Kentucky, Kansas, Carolina, when you lose the game, it's a big deal, especially to a team that's not supposed to beat you. So, I mean, you get that.
And this was part of the Kentucky ACC or Kentucky, the SEC ACC challenge. The SEC was 9-0 before this game ended, and Kentucky is the number one on the loss column right there. It's crazy.
Yeah. Let's hope Carolina can rebound tomorrow and take down Alabama.
Yeah, Carolina got a big game tomorrow with Alabama, and then after that, I mean, it's a good doubleheader tomorrow night. Duke and Auburn play, so that'll be.
That's gonna. I'm gonna follow right up after the Carolina game and watch that Duke Auburn game because that one's got me curious.
Yeah,
Auburn played really good in Maui. Obviously, they played really good.
Mm-hmm. Let's see how they play, and that's a team that I believe Kentucky's probably going to struggle with too in the SEC this year is Auburn for sure. Auburn is a physical team as well. Kentucky so far hasn't been able to handle the physicality yet. Let's see what they can do. Let's see if they can handle it Saturday when they go up against Gonzaga. Gonzaga, like I said, they'll play a little physicality. We'll see if Kentucky can match it at least and hit some shots. That'll be big.
Yeah. If they can match their physicality and hit shots, I like Kentucky's chances.
And Kentucky, they just got this number 4 ranking. And after this week, with the loss, they're going to drop, of course. Joey, what do you think about Kentucky being ranked number 4 right now?
Well, I think that any rankings this early in the season puts a lot of pressure on these kids and coaches. And I think that's where you get the court storming from, because right now, in my eyes, I think it's too early to put rankings on teams. That's just my opinion. You're what, 6, 7 games, so, 7, 8 games into the season.
8 games. Yep.
You can't see what anybody's done as a whole body of work yet. To me, until you play 15 games into the season, you can kind of see how a team is going to be ranked. But especially the polls that comes out at the beginning of the year. I mean, I halfway don't even look at them. I'm like, I don't care. I don't care if Carolina's ranked number 1 if they're not even ranked at the beginning of the year. It's like it don't even matter.
Yeah, it's just I believe what the polls are this early. It's just something for people to talk about. That's all it is. That's all the polls are for. You really
See
can't
it.
gauge how good a team really is or what kind of ranking they're going to be until you get deep about halfway through their conference season. I always say maybe 1st of February we could start releasing rankings. Until then, rankings don't matter. But, they're going to keep putting them out every year. Like I said, just something for people to talk about. But number 4 in the nation, they so far, if they were doing a ranking system, I mean, they've won all their games. They had a big win over Duke.
Hmm.
This is kind of going to drop them back down. We'll see how they do Saturday against the team they've got at number 7 in Gonzaga. And then after that, they've got, Colgate and then Louisville. Louisville lost tonight pretty handily to Ole Miss. They lost one of their better players, so that game might not be as good as what was thought before, but we'll see. I mean, it could be. We really don't know what Kentucky's going to be yet. I really haven't got a feel for how good this team is going to be yet. Like I said, they beat Duke, and then they lost this one here to Clemson. That's the only 2 games that they've played so far, so you really can't judge how good they're going to be off of just 2 marquee games, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. And the same way with Carolina, we lost to Kansas, lost to Auburn. You know, probably the 2 best teams in the country right now. And the Michigan State loss, that was kind of like Kentucky's Clemson loss. If they go out and beat Gonzaga, you know, so you're sitting here with 2 losses to really good, teams. But I don't know. It's I don't like the early season rankings overall. I just don't like it. I think conference play will separate the men from the boys. So
Mm-hmm.
that's where you lose the bulk of your games is in conference play.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And you get to go on these environments on the road that you're not used to going to. And
Yes.
at least Kentucky now has had a non-conference road environment that they've been on that they can kind of get ready for that SEC schedule because SEC is going to be tough this year.
Yeah.
I mean, Tennessee beat down Syracuse tonight. Ole Miss
Yeah.
beat down Louisville. I mean, just a lot of beating. I mean, Arkansas barely got past Miami. Yep, there's my Calipari shot for the day. Um, a bad Miami team barely squeaked it
Yeah.
by. Oh, but man, it's going to be tough. Yeah, it's going to be a tough year for Kentucky in the SEC.
Yeah. Yep. The SEC is definitely challenging this year. I mean, usually you think, the SEC in football is like, you know, my God, that's where it's at. But the SEC in college basketball, hey, it's it's gonna be tough. I mean, you got Auburn, Tennessee, Ole Miss. I mean, Alabama. You got a lot of these teams, man. It's gonna be tough. But that's
Florida's
honestly
playing good.
that's what's gonna help you for the tournament. If you're in a good
Mhm.
conference and you play tough teams on the road, you know, that's what's gonna help you in the long run. So
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, no doubt. This is only going to help Kentucky for the future. And Saturday's
yep,
game, it's going to help them too for the future. It will. And
that's a
right
road
now,
game
like
too.
2,
That's a road game too. You might as well go ahead and say it. That's a road game.
yeah, it's a road game. But even Florida with their 8 foot tall center that they've got, I don't even know if he's played yet or not. But I mean, they're undefeated so far in the season. So I mean, it's just you just keep
Yeah.
naming teams, and there they are. But man, tough loss for Kentucky tonight. Um,
Yep.
but not the worst thing that can happen to you this
No.
early in the year. It's not going to hurt you come tournament time. I think if you beat Gonzaga on Saturday, which is totally possible, that's probably going to help you worse. That's probably going to help you. That's probably going to be better for you in the tournament than this loss to Clemson. Is what I'm trying to say. If
Yes.
you can beat Gonzaga, that's going to outweigh this loss to Clemson. Is what I'm trying to say. Because this isn't a home loss, to a bad team. I mean, like I said, Clemson, they're 7-8-1 now. They got the same record or one more win than Kentucky.
Yeah.
But I mean, they ain't played anybody. But still, they've you know Elite Eight last year, got a decent record. Kentucky come back Saturday. They can beat Gonzaga, and they can, kind of cancel this one out. But we'll see. Like I said, tough loss, but I think they'll bounce back. Joey, you got anything else here before we hop off here on this Wildcats group therapy, as I should call this one?
I think the only thing I want to say is I think if they can come out and beat Gonzaga, because Mark Few and Gonzaga is going to be a tournament team, and they're going to be a contender. They are just about every year. Mark Few's a great coach. He gets the best out of his kids. So if they come out, they can beat Gonzaga. Then if I'm a Kentucky fan, I'm okay with this loss if we beat Gonzaga. I'm okay with it. So, and I think they will. I think they'll bounce back. Toby Bray ain't gonna have this kind of game against Gonzaga. I don't think he will.
No, I don't think so. And I think Mark Pope will make some adjustments. And I think things will look a little bit different Saturday coming out there.
I do too.
I think that certain individuals may not get as much playing time as they did tonight, as long as some players are healthy. Just my opinion. But I think he'll make the right adjustments, get him back on track. And I think it'll be a good game Saturday, and hope for the Cats win. But, man, you got a game tomorrow night against Alabama. We'll see how that goes. And then we'll see how Kentucky does on Saturday. And we may be on here again overreacting before then. We'll just play it by ear. But until then, thanks everybody for tuning in. Subscribe here to this channel and see when we go live for the next Extreme Overreaction or Group Therapy, whichever one it is. Seems like with the Bengals in Kentucky, well, not really Kentucky basketball, but the Bengals in Kentucky football, it's been, and Carolina basketball a couple days last week. It's been more group therapy than it has overreactions. But like I said, just subscribe. That way you'll get the notification when we do go live. And thanks for tuning in. We'll see you all in the next one.